Hello everyone. Today's biochemistry class discussion is on estimation of total cholesterol, which is a practical session. So this estimation of total cholesterol we will see under the headings of introduction. What is the aim of the practical which we are doing today? Method, sample required, principle of the method used, what is the procedure, calculation, the formula which is used for calculating the serum total cholesterol, result, and finally the clinical significance of total cholesterol. So let's begin now with the introduction of cholesterol. Cholesterol, we know it is a derived lipid, and it is most abundant sterol which is there in the human body. Character wise, it appears as a yellowish crystal and it is insoluble in water and soluble in organic solvents like ether and chloroform. And sources of cholesterol comes from two ways. One is endogenous and exogenous. Endogenous sources means which is synthesized in our body, and the major organ which is involved in total cholesterol synthesis is liver. Other than liver, there is adrenal cortex, adrenal gland, skin. These are also involved in the endogenous synthesis of cholesterol from acetyl CoA. The major organ which is associated with endogenous synthesis is liver. And the other source of total cholesterol is exogenous, that is from the dietary sources, and it is usually coming from the animal sources, and which includes milk, egg yolk, milk products and meat. This cholesterol, once it is synthesized in the liver, it is transported in the bloodstream in the form of lipoproteins, which are mainly LDL and HDL. LDL is a low density lipoprotein which carries cholesterol from liver to the other tissues, whereas HDL, which is a high density lipoprotein which carries cholesterol from other tissues to the liver, which is called as reverse cholesterol transportation with the help of an important enzyme, that is LCAT. So sources are of two types, one is endogenous and exogenous, and in the body this cholesterol present in two forms. One is free form, the other one is esterified form. Free form is about 20 to 25% and esterified form is the major one, which is about 70 to 75%. So biomedical importance of cholesterol is that it is an important it plays an important part in the synthesis of certain important compounds like bile acids are the end products of cholesterol metabolism. Vitamin D, one of the important fat soluble vitamin synthesized from 7-dehydrocholecalciferol, and the another important compound which is derived from cholesterol is steroid hormones, especially testosterone, cortisol, aldosterone and progesterone. All these steroid hormones come from cholesterol. Along with these, it also plays an important role in the formation of cell membrane. So this is the significance of cholesterol. With this introduction, we will see why is it necessary to estimate or measure cholesterol. Because increased cholesterol levels are helpful in the assessment of risk of cardiovascular diseases. Atherosclerosis, which is a process for the beginning of wherein there is excess deposition of oxidized LDL particles happens in the arterial wall, which in turn, which whenever it progresses, it will lead to arterial blockage and the patient may develop myocardial infarction. So assessment of cardiovascular diseases starts with assessment of or estimation of serum cholesterol levels in the body. And also as a part of lipid profile, it helps in the diagnosis of thyroid disorders, subclinical hypothyroidism, wherein the thyroid levels are the TSH levels are increased, but the patients will not have much symptoms, which is usually associated with hypercholesterolemia. Nephrotic syndrome, certain liver diseases, pancreatitis, gallstones, that is presence of stones in the gallbladder, and some inborn errors of metabolism which are associated with lipid metabolism like hyperlipoproteinemias. So, estimation of serum cholesterol plays important role in the diagnosis of all these disorders. So, let's move to the practical part. So, our aim here is estimation of total cholesterol in the given serum sample. Method used are for estimation of total cholesterol, we have two methods available. One is enzymatic method, the other one is chemical method. The enzymatic method which is most commonly used is CHOD-POD, that is COD-POD, cholesterol oxidase peroxidase method, and the chemical method is JAKS method. Among these two, the enzymatic method, that is cholesterol oxidase peroxidase, is the most commonly used method because compared to chemical method, this method is more sensitive, specific, it takes less time, and the results are very much reliable compared to chemical methods. So sample required for estimation of cholesterol is serum sample, and whenever we are estimating total cholesterol or lipid profile, we have to keep in mind that the patient should be in fasting status for 10 to 12 hours. That means if he has had dinner at night around 8 or 9 o'clock, he should be nil by mouth except water. He should not consume anything except water till morning. That is for at least 10 to 12 hours. So fasting sample is the requirement for estimation of total cholesterol and also for the lipid profile. So coming to the method principle by COD-POD, that is cholesterol oxidase peroxidase. As we know that cholesterol is present in the esterified form. Up to 70 to 75% of cholesterol is present in the esterified form. So this cholesterol ester, when it is hydrated with cholesterol esterase enzyme, it releases free cholesterol and free fatty acid. So this cholesterol which is released from esterified cholesterol will combine with one more enzyme, that is oxidase, and it releases cholesterol and also hydrogen peroxide. And this hydrogen peroxide combines with 4-amino antipyrrone and phenol in the presence of an enzyme peroxidase, and it forms a pink to reddish colored compound called as quinonimine with the release of 4 molecules of water. And the compound which is formed, that is pinkish to red color, the OD of that will be measured at 530 to 540 nanometers. So once more, the esterified cholesterol on hydroxylation in the presence of esterase enzyme, it releases cholesterol and free fatty acid. The free cholesterol combines with oxidase enzyme and it releases cholesterol and hydrogen peroxide. This hydrogen peroxide in the presence of peroxidase enzyme combines with 4-amino antipyrrone and phenol and releases a pink to reddish colored compound called as quinonimine with the release of 4 molecules of water. And the absorbance or the color formed is directly proportional to the concentration of cholesterol present in that given sample. This is the principle. So procedure, we have to take 3 test tubes and should be labeled as blank, standard and test. Distilled water 20 microliters to be taken in blank. Cholesterol reagent to be taken in standard test tube 20 microliters and serum sample to be taken in test labeled test tube, that is 20 microliters, and the color reagent 2 ml to be added to all the 3 samples. After adding all this, we have to mix and it should be incubated at room temperature for 10 minutes. And after 10 minutes, the optical density to be measured at 530 or 540 nanometers. Please note down the aim, method, principle, procedure, everything in your observation book, and once you come back to the college from the notes which you have taken from this class, you have to perform it in the biochemistry laboratory once you come back to the college. So calculation, the formula used is OD of test by OD of standard into concentration of the standard. Here the concentration of standard of cholesterol is 200. So after taking the OD, fill those values in this formula and you will get the cholesterol value present in that sample. So the result should be written as the given serum sample contains so and so milligram per deciliter of total cholesterol. So normal ranges of total cholesterol, that is serum, it is given as per ATP guidelines. It is defined in 3 stages: desirable, borderline high and very high. Up to 200 milligrams per deciliter, 150 to 200 milligrams per deciliter is desirable range of serum, normal serum total cholesterol. 201 to 239 it is borderline high, and more than 240 milligrams per deciliter is high levels of serum cholesterol. Here we are using cod pod, which is a enzymatic method, and advantages of this enzymatic method over chemical method, as I had already mentioned, it is more sensitive and specific and it takes less time to perform the test. What are the factors which affect cholesterol estimation? We should keep certain things in mind when we are performing cholesterol estimation, especially in the clinical laboratory. We should be sure whether the patient is in fasting status or non-fasting status, because if he is non-fasting, which is a random sample, there may be increased level of total cholesterol. So we should be sure before collecting the sample, we should note down that whether it is fasting sample or random sample. If the patient is taking alcohol, or the previous day if he has taken alcohol, excessive amounts of alcohol, that also influences total cholesterol levels. Certain medications like oral contraceptive pills, or patient is on certain steroids or lipid lowering agents like statins, if he is on any of these medications, there may be biased value of total cholesterol on estimation. Another 2 things, one is hemolysis. Hemolysis means rupture of RBCs, which gives reddish colored combination. So this is the preferred serum, which is clear, transparent and slightly yellowish in color. This is the perfect serum sample which is needed, but here this is hemolyzed sample. If the serum sample is hemolyzed, this again goes on interference in the observance and we may get falsely increased cholesterol levels. And if the patient is having jaundice where there is high bilirubin levels, that also interferes in the cholesterol estimation. So these are the certain factors which we should keep in mind while estimating and while interpretation of total cholesterol levels. Coming to clinical significance, now we know that normal range of cholesterol is between 150 to 200 milligrams per deciliter. So hypercholesterolemia is called as when the cholesterol level is more than 240 milligrams per deciliter. And in which conditions we see these levels? One is nephrotic syndrome, myxedema, that is nothing but hypothyroidism, obstructive jaundice, diabetes mellitus. and familial hyperlipoproteinemias. And hypocholesteremia when the levels are less than 150 milligrams per deciliter, and conditions associated with this includes hyperthyroidism, malabsorption syndrome, and severe liver disorders, because the synthesis of cholesterol is not taking place, because liver is the main organ which is involved in endogenous cholesterol synthesis. So in these conditions, cholesterol levels will be less. Now let's move to next part, which is certain commonly asked Viva questions which you should be studying well and prepare. Normal range of cholesterol, causes for hypercholesterolemia, substances or compounds derived from cholesterol, advantages of enzymatic method over chemical method, what is atherosclerosis, what are statins and mechanism of action of these drugs, and lifestyle modifications to reduce cholesterol levels. These are the most commonly asked Viva questions in your practical sessions. Read them and prepare it well. And please note down all the procedure, principle, method, aim of all of that, and write it down in your observation book and get it once you come back to the college, because this is what you have to perform in your practical class. Thank you.